What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Yordenis Ugas, Cuban, welterweight contender, will be fighting this Sunday, should I say, for the vacant WBA regular title. In that, of course, he's doing interviews to promote his upcoming fight and to build it, right? So, Yordenis Ugas did an interview with PBC and Ray Flores, in which he had a lot of things to say. Ray Flores tried to push the issue of who do you want to fight after you get past Sunday? Should you get past Sunday? Not trying to overlook Sunday's opponent, but should you be successful Sunday, what direction do you want to go in which he asked him about Errol Spence, Danny Garcia winner. He said he would like that fight. He said he definitely would like a rematch with two-time welterweight world champion Showtime's Sean Porter, in which they had a very, very close fight that saw Sean Porter get the nod in the edge in the victory, right? He wasn't too happy with that. He says that he felt like he did everything he needed to do to be victorious in that fight, but yet Sean Porter still got the nod. So he said that there's something a little extra that he's going to have to do to get the victory, but he would love that fight. Then he was asked about Terence Crawford. He says that I met, Ray Flores didn't catch it immediately, but he said I met with Bob Arum and he never sent me the contract. Then Flores then revisited that. He said, so wait a minute. When it comes to Terence Crawford, you did have a sit down and you did have a meeting, but nothing came of it. He said, right. I had to sit down. I sat with Bob Arum. I talked to Bob Arum. I told him I would love to fight Terence Crawford, but he never sent me a contract. He said, so after this fight on Sunday, I definitely would like to fight Terence Crawford. Tell Bob Arum to send me the contract. That's a fight I would love to have. I want to fight the champions. Wow. So, it just seems like Terence Crawford is just... Terence Crawford, first of all, is a 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, and currently the WBO welterweight world champion, right? He's widely considered within the sport of boxing as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And so Terence Crawford gets a lot. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? So Terence Crawford is going to be asked to, fight the best of the best, point blank and period, right? As Danny Garcia was, right? Danny Garcia is a 2-division world champion. Danny Garcia is a former junior welterweight unified world champion and former WBC welterweight world champion who is going to face off against Errol the True Spence Jr. Why did I bring up Danny Garcia? Because Danny Garcia, after he went on a tear, beating the likes of Amir Khan, Lamont Peterson, Lucas Matisse, Danny Garcia wasn't allowed to take a break at that point in time, right? Danny Garcia was looked at and seen as the best junior welterweight in the world, and everybody held Danny Garcia in high regards. He beat Amir Khan, he beat Eric Morales, he beat Zab Judah, he beat Lucas Matisse, then he fought Mauricio Herrera, and people were crying that he fought a guy that had already had 3 losses. Then he fought Rod Salka, and people were crying that he fought Rod Salka, and then all of a sudden, Danny Garcia turned into a cherry picker. He then went on to fight Lamont Peterson and Paulie Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero. He beat Robert Guerrero for the vacant WBC welterweight title. That's how he became a welterweight world champion. And then he fought Samuel Vargas, and they cried about that. So because of Danny Garcia beating Kendall Holt, the likes of Nate Campbell, this is his back-to-back victories. He beat Nate Campbell, Kendall Holt, Eric Morales, Amir Khan, Eric Morales again, Zab Judah, Lucas Matisse, who was considered the boogeyman in the junior welterweight division. And then he fought Mauricio Herrera, and everybody cried that Danny Garcia at that point was cherry-picking because they want to see Danny Garcia in the ring with the absolute best. So he didn't get a break. When you Floyd Mayweather, he couldn't get a break, right? Floyd Mayweather fought Juan Manuel Marquez, and the boxing world cried foul that he should be fighting better opposition. He fought Shane Mosley, and everybody was calling for a Shane Mosley fight when he signed to fight Juan Manuel Marquez, and everybody was crying that he should be fighting Shane Mosley. Then he fights Shane Mosley the very next fight, and everybody said that Shane Mosley was too old. So we understand that heavy is the head that bears the crown, right? And so when you're Terence Crawford, heavy is the head that bears the crown. If you're going to be considered the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, if you're going to consider yourself the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, because we have to remember that Terence Crawford crowned himself that after he beat Julius Ndongo, and he stood in front of Andre Ward, who was considered the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world at that point in time. And he said, now I took the crown. Now I am the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world because I'm undisputed. This is what he told Andre Ward in the post-fight interview, right? So heavy is the head that bears the crown. Everybody's going to want to see Terence Crawford in the ring with the absolute best opponents, point blank and period. So Yordenis Ugas is one of the guys that the boxing world would love to see Terence Crawford in the ring with, point blank and period. They're not going to give Terence Crawford, he's not going to get a pass these days. It's not going to happen because, like I just said, I can't repeat this enough. Heavy is the head that bears the crown. Yordenis Ugas has a fight coming up this Sunday, and Yordenis Ugas is expected to be victorious. And after that, everybody is going to want to see Yordenis Ugas versus Terence Bud Crawford, right? So now with that said, ironically, Yordenis Ugas is facing Abel Ramos this Sunday, and he's expected to be victorious in doing so. With that said, though, Bob Arum met with Yordenis Ugas, and he had a list of opponents, Bob Arum did, that were possible viable opponents for Terence Crawford to face in his next fight. And they're looking to schedule Terence Crawford and have him back in the ring November 14th, a week before you get the highly anticipated welterweight unification showdown between Errol the Truth Spence Jr., unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, and Danny Garcia. They fight November 21st. So Bob Arum, Top Rank, and ESPN are looking to air and have Terence Crawford on the 14th, the week before. So with that said, you know, opponents that rose for Terence Crawford, according to Bob Arum, were Sergey Lipinets, Yordenis Ugas, possible Sean Porter, and this was a very short list. Manny Pacquiao was on the list. Manny Pacquiao is looking like he's not fighting in the year 2020. Yordenis Ugas, Sergey Lipinets has a fight coming up and didn't seem too interested in the Terence Crawford fight. And then you have guys like Mr. Gary Russell Jr., who's campaigning for the fight against Terence Crawford. He's coming up from 126. He said that he could pull it off. He likes it. He's confident. He likes his chances. There's a storyline, backstory is a selling point. And you haven't heard anything back from Terence Crawford regarding Gary Russell Jr., who said that he had Al Heyman and the PBC contact Bob Arum, send them over contracts, and there's no response over 3 times, according to Gary Russell. Then you have Terence Crawford seeming to be wanting to fight Kell Brook. Kell Brook, they offered Kell Brook $1.5 million. According to reports, Kell Brook is not willing to take $1.5 million, stating that he could get $1.5 million fighting domestic guys over in the UK. So he's not going to travel over the pond to the States to fight Terence Crawford in a high-profile fight for $1.5 million. Then, like I said, he lost the opportunity with Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao is not going to compete in 2020. Yordenis Ugas is fighting Sunday, but he's saying that he'll be available if he get this fight over quick for November, right? So, I mean, and we have to question and wonder why Bob Arum hasn't responded or didn't send a contract over to Yordenis Ugas, because Yordenis Ugas is talking as if he would have accepted the fight with Terence Crawford over this fight with Ramos on Sunday. I keep saying Saturday because I'm used to boxing me on Saturday. On Sunday for the vacant regular WBA title. And he says he still wants to fight Terence Crawford after this. So now Terence Crawford, he was contacted by Sean Porter, according to Sean Porter. And Sean Porter said Terence Crawford turned him down and said that he has other things in mind. He has other plans. And so he'll revisit Sean Porter if his plans fall through. Well, his plans are falling through, but you haven't heard anything regarding Sean Porter being a possible opponent for Terence Crawford, because Manny Pacquiao fell through. Kell Brook is not taking 1.5. Yordenis Ugas says he'll fight him after this fight. Sergey Lipinets removed himself from the equation. You have Ray Robinson on the table. But what direction? They tried to fight Josito Lopez, but he turned it down. Now he's going to fight Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker on Errol Spence's and Danny Garcia's co-main event for November 21st. So his opponents are slim to none. And Yordenis Ugas is a viable opponent, and I think that they're going to have to revisit the Yordenis Ugas situation and actually send him a contract. There's been so much talk of other sides sending them the contracts. When it came to Keith Thurman, they said that Keith Thurman had to send them a contract with a boatload of money, but he wasn't able to receive $10 million from ESPN Top Rank and Terence Crawford's team. But in return, they want Keith Thurman to send a contract with a boatload of money. So this is where the issues are coming in when it comes to Terence Crawford and the rest of the boxing world. So let's see how this all plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.